What I've got for you today is supposed to be an absolute train wreck of a Zerg versus Protoss. This game was recently played during an online tournament called the OSC Masters Cup, and for some reason we find ourselves on a map called Eternal Empire. Now, Eternal Empire was very popular a couple of years ago, probably one of the best maps we've ever had in Legacy of the Void, but I haven't seen a game on this map in quite some time. Anyways, spawning right here in the top right-hand corner, playing with the red Zerg drones as both of the players are chatting away at one another, we have none other than Demi. I don't think I've casted a game of Demi before, at the very least for the YouTube channel, which really is a bit of a shame. We'll talk about him a little bit more in just a second. His opponent in the opposite corner with the blue Protoss pieces, we're looking at Geralt, main Nexus. And Geralt is someone I have featured before in the past. Demi, currently the #1 player from India, so that is kind of cool. I thought he wanted to go for a hatchery block right over here instead of his opponent's natural, but he decides to go for a proxy hatchery right between his opponent's natural and then his third. Now, just because I'm really curious, hold up, let me have a quick little peek. Are you going to Atlanta? So I guess this game was played right before DreamHack Atlanta. Geralt says, yes, you? No, I'm poor. Same, but the clan pays. I have 0 EPT points, XD. Alright, fair enough. Demi playing for Alpha X. I guess it's going to be very difficult to qualify if, yeah, you don't have any EPT points, at the very least when it comes to playing IEM Katowice. Anyhow, at this point, Geralt scouts the main base of the opponent, and he sees a whole lot of nothing. Well, he sees the timing of an extractor and a spawning pool, but he hasn't seen a base yet. So honestly, I would start being a little bit suspicious, and this is 100% the right move to make. Geralt, of course, one of the better Protoss players on the European server. He decides to check out front, and he now goes for a Cybercore here as well, and I'm guessing a second gateway? I mean, he needs 150 minerals. He's cutting pro production, so I think it has to be a second gate. No, it's gonna be a forge. Okay. So he's very much so respecting this. I wonder what the best choice is, actually. It's probably a forge. If Geralt is going for a forge, I'm gonna make the assumption that the forge is indeed the right call. He now knows what he's going up against, but how scary is this truly? So what exactly is the plan? Are we gonna go for... No. I thought maybe we wanted to go for like a Roach Warren or something along those lines. Oh, that's what we're doing. Okay. Only a single drone, though? I think Demi wanted to go for a spine crawler, no? Am I crazy? Since the Zealot, though, has already arrived, he's waiting for the Zerglings to pop out. For someone who's going for a proxy hatchery, though, I feel like this is relatively low committal. Am I crazy? I feel like the link speed is kind of late. He's actually keeping the drones in the gas as well. So we'll have to see what exactly he decides to transition into from here. Because this is... like, it's a committed all-in, right? You really have to get something done with this. But it doesn't seem like he's committing all too much. Okay, there's another drone that was just built over here at this proxy hatchery. So most of the time, whenever we see this sort of style, which we really don't anymore in 2022, but whenever we do see this style, it's incredibly committed and usually very aggressive. But Demi is now going for a one-base lair. Mining only a single gas geyser as well, so we'll have to see what exactly his plan is moving forward here. There's an Overlord in this position as well, okay. Interesting. So Geralt here also not entirely sure how to respond at this point. He's made 3 photon cannons. He's probably waiting until eventually those spine crawlers are gonna, yeah, indeed unroot and then root a little bit closer. They want to be in range of the Cybercore. Recall right now being used as well to keep these Stalkers alive, but one of them sadly does still end up going down. If you can burrow these 2 spine crawlers in range of the Warp Gate research, that would be fantastic. If he ends up killing that Cybercore, that would be huge. Now, a shield battery is available. If push comes to shove, you can still battery overcharge as well, just to, yeah, you can manually target it as well, just to keep that alive for a little bit longer. If the Warp Gate's research gets denied, that's a problem. Anyways, in the meantime, a Dropperlord has been made, and that Overlord we saw earlier is gonna start dropping a bunch of Zerglings inside of the main base. And in the meantime, Demi is expanding behind this. Okay. I can't blame Geralt here for this read of his, right? Like, this is a bit funky. He's looked at this, he's like, yeah, there's a lot of stuff, but, like, it's not that much stuff. So I don't have to get too aggressive. Now, one Zergling here. Apparently, one step too far. Yeah, he sadly right now gets spotted there inside of the main base. But that's still a lot of links. There's no shield battery, no pylon, no nothing. I think the probes are gonna have to pull here as well for fighting. Yeah, and this is gonna cost them a ton of economy. If you don't pull the boys here, I think you're in a little bit of trouble. Nice hold position, Micro over there though. Trying to make the best of this scenario. And honestly, all things considered, excellent control right there for Geralt. But this is definitely a significant disadvantage. You can, by the way, not load spine crawlers into a dropper lord. I know some of you are probably wondering about that. Are the spines gonna go home? Is that the plan? I mean, there's a Void Ray out right now. Oracle in the back of this too. Yep, the drones are gonna go home and so are the spines. It's gonna take them a little while, but these legs are made for walking apparently. They have many of them. So if they can get home, I mean, they don't bleed out as long as they're rooted like this, or unrooted like this. They don't actually bleed out off creep. They should be able to go home. And Geralt right now, looking for the spine crawlers, looking for Brenda. Brenda over here, okay, does get the knight for the time being. He really wants the spines. I think it makes the most sense to hunt those down. Anyways, 5 minutes and 40 seconds in after a successful-ish hatchery rush. We've got ourselves a 2-base Hydra den coming up right here for Demi. Okay. Third hatchery also building here at the conventional location. So this is a bit of an older map. Technically speaking, I guess you could build a third hatchery over here, but not a great idea. This is a theme we've had in the earlier days of StarCraft 2, where, yeah, in some of those maps, or on some of those maps, you just didn't have that many options. These days, you definitely have multiple places where you can usually take your third. Anyways, one pesky little stasis ward over here. It's gonna get triggered, and the drones are gonna return to mining. Void Ray over here also being obnoxious. But this is, of course, a really good position right now for Demi. Let me just flip the scoreboard real quick, actually. I just realized that for some reason, with my own pet peeves as well, man, I've complained about this in previous casts. I had the players flipped upside down. I always want to have the player that spawned in the top section of the map, in the top section of the scoreboard, and the production tab too, but apparently I ruined it. Anyways, Geralt right now, though, getting a lot of work done on the other side of the map too. Yeah. Okay, so 9 workers versus 9 workers killed. Not bad at all. Plus, obviously, those oracles are still very useful later on. Brenda's still pushing creep all the way around the map. Actually kind of nice, because the revelation skill does, of course, take a bunch of energy. Geralt right now is going to be unable to take his third base, so he needs to bring the oracles back home to get rid of the creep spread. But he's decided to make a wall off over here. Okay. So, hold up. Let me just really quickly check what the map pool was for this particular tournament. Okay, so it's all the normal maps. So, Waterfall, Tropical Sacrifice, Stargazers, Moondance, Inside and Out, Data, Sea, Cosmic Sapphire. But then on top of that, they decided to add Eternal Empire, Everdream, and Nightshade. Which is actually kind of cool. So, when exactly was this map popular? Let me just double check that real quick. When exactly did we play this map? Okay, it was 2019, late 2019 until October 2020. So we had this map around for quite a while. But interestingly enough, yeah, I haven't seen a whole lot of games on it ever since it got taken care of, right? Whenever we replaced it in the StarCraft 2 map pool. I think I've seen 1 or 2 games on it. I may have even casted one, but other than that, pretty uncommon to see games here. Anyhow. The Hydras are nearly fully upgraded. As a matter of fact, they've already got their speed upgrade, and ranged is gonna be done soon. So they're gonna rush across the map. The saving grace right here for the Queen. Honestly, this Hydra army is pretty scary. With full upgrades, they deal a lot of damage. That being said, +1 and Blink is finishing up here as well for Geralt, who's now trying to secure that third Nexus. Okay, Brenda is gonna go down here, but here's the Zerglings and the Hydras. And Zerglings and Hydras deal a ton of damage, actually. Blink at this point is done. Not usually the unit composition we have at this point in the game, but these units are very much so glass cannons. We see Hydras getting absolutely demolished all of the time, but when they actually get into the fight, and they can sort of win, right? They, generally speaking, trade pretty effectively. No cancel on that third Nexus either. So, yeah, Demi already got what he came for. Decides to back off once again and is now droning up. We see that Spire coming down too. So after going for a proxy hatch, after rushing out a bunch of Hydras, we're now going into both a Lurker Den as well as a Spire. I would imagine that the Spire is going to be used to make a group of mutas. Now, mutas probably won't achieve too much against someone, you know, who doesn't have a lot of gas. Obviously, he doesn't have a lot of gas, so he can't really make that many mutas. But Blink is already finished. But maybe it'll force out some weird tech transitions here out of Geralt, who's now trying to go for the double robo play style. If he overcommits, right, and it makes a bunch of photon cannons in every base, honestly, that may very well already justify the cost of the mutas, assuming they can also kill at least a couple of probes. I kind of like the funky playstyles, though, that we've seen a couple of Zerg players going for lately, right? We've had Mio Maiko, of course, who plays very much so differently than everybody else. Okay, so he actually goes +1 flyer attacks. I'm not 100% sure about that one. He also just started up +1 melee. You only really go for this upgrade when you want to double down on that production. It could just be that he's preparing for a Skypulse transition already. But usually when we see a Spire relatively early on into the game, it is... Okay, it is for mutas. So my main concern right here is that I like mutas, I like lurkers, but you need a lot of gas in order to support both of those units. So I'm not 100% convinced that it's really going to be something he can actually produce. Well, he's going to try. Infestation Pit is coming up, and with that, we'll probably go into a hive as well. In the meantime, on the other side of the map, Geralt has decided to go into the Robo Bay. Considering he's seen Hydras, I think he's going to go into Colossus here. Colossus, of course, very good when it comes to, well, combining together with the Stalkers and everything. Certainly not a bad option. What a funny little game. Alright. Disruptors being chronoed out first. I would imagine that Colossi are probably a better option, but maybe he's a little bit concerned of like a massive roach transition. Not as much scouting anymore at this point in the game. I mean, we've seen the timing of the 4th hatch, but that can't really come as much of a surprise. This may actually be the first map where we ever had a high-yield Vespian Geyser. I'm not exactly sure, but I feel like that may be the case. Anyhow. The mutas. Where exactly are they? Okay. They're flying in the top left-hand corner, while the real bulk of the Zerg army is pushing once again towards the 3rd. Demi right now in a very good spot. And I'm a little bit concerned right here for this mineral line of our Protoss player, because he might go across the map eventually. But this is going to be a lot of dead probes. Yeah, this is going to be a lot of dead probes. As soon as those Stalkers leave this base alone as well, they are going to be in so much trouble, because then the 3rd base is going to get picked off. Disruptors at this point also get spotted. He's going to start working on the workers here in the main base. Ay, 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 ay. 17 probes have already gone down, and Demi just secured his hold on this game. The fact that he's going for Zerglings, yeah, and he's going for adrenal glands and everything, honestly, those Disruptors are just not a great option. I think the Disruptors would have been great against a Roach-based transition, but none of that is happening. Phoenixes right now are being forced out by Geralt, who needs to have a counter against these mutas, and eventually he's going to be able to deny them quite nicely. But the follow-up for Demi is already coming in the form of Lurkers fully upgraded, together with Vipers. So we're going into the Hydra Lurker Viper unit composition, but in a very different route than what we normally see. No roaches here. Instead, we had mutas and a proxy hatch. Apparently, all the roads do eventually lead towards the same unit comp, but this is gonna come as a surprise. Look at that. 14 lurkers coming up all at once. Geralt hasn't been scouting much lately, and this may very well bite him in the butt, right? Not only does that cause him to lose a lot of his probes, or did that cause already for him to lose a lot of probes. Right now, the mutas are being sacked, by the way. Getting rid of them. Okay, they do get to scout the fleet beacon, so that's nice. But, yeah. I think if you go for an attack here pretty soon, and you can burrow, say, for example, right over in this area, that would be fantastic. Now, of course, the Disruptors, while not so great against Zerglings and Hydras, they're gonna be pretty good against the Lurkers. The problem is if you abduct the Disruptors while they're channeling their Purification Novas, obviously the ability is denied altogether. So, there is potential right here for Geralt for sure, but I've got a feeling that he is in a lot of trouble as soon as the Zerg army starts moving across. So that's the speedy burrow upgrade right here. That's +2 melee. This Zerg army, especially with the links and already having the Adrenal Glands upgrade done, right? Yeah, he said +1 and Adrenal Glands. That's kind of funny too. Anyways, these units are going to pack an absolute punch. He now sees the Lurkers, I think for the first time. Nexus, though, just right-clicked on, and it does go down. Okay. This is one of the problems on this map. While you do have two fourth base options, and again, you could technically go for the one right over there on the left side of the map, but it's really far out. It's really difficult to secure a new base. Tempest are coming out. Would love to see some chrono boosts on that. Great Aspire already coming up as well for Demi. I don't think the Great Aspire is a great idea. I mean, it's good maybe later, but I don't think you can reliably kill Tempest with Brute Lords last time I checked. He does already have one of the flyer, or actually two of the flyer attacks even, so a Corrupted Transition would pack a punch. Okay, yoink yoink. No yoinks for now. There's a couple High Templar here ready as well. No cancel once more. So, yeah, okay. A couple of the units do get killed. But I'm starting to be concerned right here for the economy of Geralt. His main base is going to be running low. His natural is already running out as well. Third Nexus was pretty late, all things considered, but he's really going to have to rely on the strength of these Tempests to ever secure another base. If Demi can keep up this soft contain, he's going to be in a really good spot. Now, maybe he can catch a couple of those lurkers on the retreat. Okay, very nicely done. Grabbing a few of those units. Lurkers are real expensive, of course. You don't want to overextend. There's the Disruptors and massive connections. Okay, that's what we want to see. A couple of aggressive blinks as well into the Banelings. That's the beginning of something right here for Geralt. Oh, sorry, I tried opening up the battle report, but apparently there is no such thing. Anyways, as he snipes those those lurkers over here, yeah, now 9 of them have gone down in total. And you can see that resource effectiveness is not really Demi's strong suit in this game here so far. So he's lost a lot of stuff, and despite the fact that he's been mining way more than his opponent, he needs to be careful. This fourth Nexus really needs to be denied again if possible. One cheeky little lurker on the high ground being obnoxious, but no energy actually for a revelation just yet. There you go. Now he's going to be able to get rid of it. Easy peasy. Okay, so a line of spine crawlers. 6 of them in total. We already have a nice line of spine crawlers over here as well. Demi does not want to take damage from any zealot run-bys. Not really happening though. Do we have enough Hydras to properly kill those Tempests? There's only a couple of them. At this point, by the way, there's no Storm yet available for those High Templar. Okay, so that's good. But Storm is finishing up, and, well, you can see the counter right there on the right side of the screen. Lurker trying to be as obnoxious as possible again, but this base is becoming more and more reasonable right now, right? Especially now with the Nexus done, you can use the battery overcharge, which is going to make it a bit more straightforward to keep all of this alive. Now, once again, though, Demi is ready to collapse on top of this army. Abductions being used on the Disruptors primarily. Good feedback right there by Geralt. Is there enough for the Zerg to really bite their way through it? That battery overcharge putting in so much work. And that fight right there was not what you're looking for here as the Zerg player at all. 18 Mutas. Okay, 18 Mutas, soon to be with +3. I guess all the Phoenixes... No, there's still 3 of them out. But how many Phoenixes were even made in this game? Okay, only 5 in total. Yeah, 3 Phoenixes are going to have a very hard time dealing with that many Mutalisks. But that is a tech step down, right? Usually we see players trying to improve their unit composition. Demi right here purposefully going for a step lower than the tech that he's already gotten to. Which can sometimes catch the opponent off guard, but it does feel a little bit desperate. This is not going to be able to kill a base, but it can obviously kill the workers that are mining at the base. I mean, unless he's left alone for a really long time. Okay, so 22 Mutas all of a sudden coming out. That is, well, 2200 gas, 2200 minerals. Geralt, though, in the meantime, is improving his unit composition. We're going for the shield upgrades right now. I would love to see a couple Archons added into the mix as well. Yeah, okay. He's got only 2 of them right now, but I think Archons here are going to be fantastic if he can afford the gas for it. Now that he's got the High Templar tech, okay. 4 High Templar. I think that's a good number. Like a good minimum. And now he's securing another expansion here as well. This one is a little bit ambitious. But judging by the way that Zerg has been playing over the last 2 minutes, he'll probably be able to pull that off. 24 Mutas. Flapping their little wings. This time around on the right side of the map. Geralt actually sneaks a peek at some of those units as well. Did he notice, however? Did he notice? Yeah, I think he did. Yep, he did. Very nicely done. Phoenixes coming back home. Anion Pulse Crystals research, which is +2 range on those Phoenixes, also coming up. We've got ourselves 2 more Phoenixes on the production tab. This is gonna be really cheeky right now for Demi, who really needs to get work done. Like, he needs to get something done with these Mutalisks, otherwise he's gonna be in a lot of trouble. With the Anion Pulse Crystals, you can kite these units for days. He's trying his very best to deal with the army right there up front as well, but what was previously a massive, massive disadvantage for Geralt is now slowly turning into a more playable scenario for him. Now, the upgrade actually gets denied. That's great. The fact that Demi doesn't have to deal with additional range on those Phoenixes that can move and shoot at the same time. Yeah, that's pretty sweet. Still, though, Phoenixes are going to be a helpful addition. Do you really want to make this many mutas, though, and snipe a couple tech structures? I've got a feeling that's not actually the goal. Now, here's a Zergling run-by with those upgrades of theirs. Yeah, they're going to be able to bite their way through that health bar of the Nexus real quick, and it does indeed fall. But the problem is, we're going to double down on mutas? No way. Oh my god, 40 plus mutas coming up all at once. Is he calling the bluff that Geralt is not going to make those, like, fleet beacons? Is he, there's no way. Protoss will certainly make another fleet beacon here, if only to go for some carriers, right? Maybe a couple more upgrades, also nice as well. I mean, I wouldn't expect it. Now the Phoenixes are flying across the map as well, and they're gonna go after all of the units that are still up in the air. Overlords, Vipers, hey you. Come up into the air, we'll pick you off, easy peasy. There's the mutas though, that is a thick clump of Mutalisk. He needs that upgrade real bad. He needs that upgrade so quickly. Geralt will start it up here momentarily, I'm sure. Here's the problem though. Yeah, at this point with +3, these units deal so much damage. If you miscontrol the Phoenixes for even just a moment, yep, one volley of the Zerg units here will absolutely destroy it. Stalkers are definitely no longer a good counter. In the meantime, there was a little bit of a fight happening here as well, but the Tempests do decide to come all the way back home. Okay. Just the bounce attacks are now enough to kill the Phoenixes. Oh, there's another misrallied one. Okay, he decides to go after the Stargates themselves. I mean, without Stargates, you can't produce Phoenixes. Without Phoenixes, you can't properly counter this army. Storms are obviously still nice, but there's now enough mutas to even go after the Tempests. Do we have... Okay, I was gonna say, do we have any High Templar nearby? High Templar are heading on over in this direction. But if this game stabilizes, careful for the Archons, if this game stabilizes and the mutas again get pushed back, I've got a feeling that the ultimate army that Geralt is going for here is quite a bit stronger. He's making more mutas. He's aiming for 100 plus dead Mutalisks in one game. You know what? Don't think I've ever seen that before in a Zerg versus Protoss. I kinda like it. Even if it's just because I've got a good title for my YouTube video. I can make a sick thumbnail, dude. It's gonna be easy. Anyways, no, but seriously, this is... It's dangerous. Okay, now goes after the High Templar. It's dangerous because there's a lot of units that are pretty good against mutas. There's nothing here that really absolutely destroys mutas. Well, not until this upgrade is done. But there's a lot of units that are pretty good against the mutas. You know what I mean? Like Stalkers and Archons and High Templar and stuff. It's very hard to dodge everything. Careful, he decides to clump up his units here. High Templar, though, could probably get sniped, but he's a little bit scared. In the meantime, there's a huge Zergling run-by as well inside of the natural, but those mutas are going to have to flap their little wings in another direction. Another kill and another fleet beacon. But the upgrade is done, and when the upgrade is done, it's finished. You don't have to get it again after the structure goes down. Not in StarCraft 2 anyways. Alright, now we have the Corruptors coming up. I mean, if the opponent is too committed into Phoenixes, right? Say at some point we're going to see 20 Phoenixes. Corruptors are going to absolutely tear those units apart. Now, Mutalisk Corruptor is not a common unit composition that we see. But I guess it has some potential. New bases, by the way, acquired here as well. He's been mining those high-yield gases for some time, which is pretty sweet. Alright. Once again, Zerg bouncing their way right here through that net. But I don't think it's a great idea, no. He's bouncing on top of that Protoss army. But the Stalker's blinking into the main base. Excellent. The longer that this game goes on, though, the more I'm liking this position for Geralt. Just because Geralt here is trying to go for a death ball, right? He's trying to go for an ultimate unit composition. Whereas Demi is trying to win by just sniping stuff and trying to almost like bully the opponent out of the game. In a straight up battle between two maxed out armies, Demi's army is gonna get trashed, I'm afraid. So, as long as Geralt here eventually gets towards that death ball of a Protoss army, I think he's gonna feel pretty good about himself. If we look right now at the resources lost, yeah, there's a lot more resources lost right here on the side of the Zerg, but not by as much of a difference as I would have anticipated, actually. Cool. One cheeky little zealot being annoying. The first bit of counterattack damage we've seen in quite some time. Yeah, we are getting to a very healthy amount of phoenixes. Now the carriers are coming up. I think that's the right call. I think carriers are an excellent option here. Wouldn't mind seeing another one coming up as well as soon as he's getting the gas for it. Zerg will probably attempt to take this base here momentarily, but these players are becoming next door neighbors. High yield gas here as well. Oh, that's a nice little warp in, actually. It's a curious little Protoss wall. Excellent force field as well. It's a curious wall, but it's working. Parasitic Bomb. That Parasitic Bomb can deal a lot of damage. One of the units end up going down as well. Geralt here trying to split up his units and doing an excellent job at exactly that. Right now, though, the Corruptors are up in the air, and the Corruptors can zone away against those Phoenixes. They can buy a lot of time for this, this Muta clump to get damage in as well. Sky Zerg is not something we normally see, but it even sounds a little weird to say, but Sky Zerg actually has a lot of potential. Okay. Zealot run by over here, though. I wouldn't mind seeing some of those spine crawlers reposition themselves. Now, finally, though, Geralt is moving onto the creep. He's not been here in a very long time. As a matter of fact, I don't think he's ever been here in this game. It's tricky to clean all of this up, but he's doing an excellent job just slowly, yeah, including more and more of his army out on the map as well. Rather than just moving with a couple of zealots at a time, maybe a few phoenixes, now he's moving with his whole army. Would like to see this being re-walled as well. I think that would be a good idea, but... Finally, Geralt is ready to put all of his eggs in one basket. Does he have enough to just fight this army? One option that Zerg always has, and I think that may actually very well be what Geralt is playing against right here, is Demi going for a full-on counterattack. Mass Muta armies actually are super scary because they can kill stuff way faster than you can kill the Zerg. Corruptors? Corruptors, hello. Corruptors, you guys need to get into the position. I think you control-click the Corruptors here and just try to move them around. Parasitic Bomb here is actually really cool. Good split once again by Geralt, though. Even though he's not playing against this sort of style all too much. Okay, well, he brought it back a little soon as well. Even though he must not be playing against this all too frequently, he's doing a good job dealing with all of this. Storm, though, there you go. That's an excellent storm. That's the kind of storm we want to see. Mutas are getting absolutely evaporated. Complete glass cannons. And against these late-game Protoss armies, while in theory they can do work, in a realistic scenario, you're very likely to get stormed, or maybe get like a, I don't know, an Archon to shoot at your clump of Mutas, or the Phoenixes to just get a little bit too good of an engagement. That is all of the Mutas gone, and we are indeed at 100+ of them. Insane tech transitions right here from Demi, who's now trying to secure the base in the bottom right. Making a nice little wall here as well. Building a wall and making his opponent pay for it. I think that's the way to do it. Okay. The natural is gone. The main base, mostly destroyed as well. Geralt, though, has been relocating a lot of his tech structures towards the bottom section of the map here instead. He may have denied the base on this side of the map, but one of the bases that is normally considered to be for the player in the bottom section is now being mined on the other side. Good control once again by Geralt. If you look at the actions per minute here, actually, you can see that compared to some of the top-level Zergs, Demi is playing a little bit slower. Makes you wonder what could happen if this was played in the hands of someone like, I don't know, Raynor, Serral, Dark, like any of those lads. They usually play up to like 470 actions per minute, like literally twice as much. But anyway, or 200 more, rather. Anyways, here we go. Once again, big storms on Lings, Banes, and Mutas. Corruptors trying their very best. Is this still doable right now, though, for Demi? I mean, there's a lot of friendly fire coming out of those psionic storms as well. The big heavy hitters from the Protoss, at least some of them do stay alive. Very expensive trades, but Demi still has money in the bank. So we've had 1 carrier and 5 Tempests going down. Okay. Yeah, Demi is playing this like his money is never running out. Which it is. As a matter of fact, right now he's got no gas. Really need to saturate that. Okay, he's looking at the same place at the same time. That's excellent. Geralt basically screaming, just leave me alone, bro! Just let me macro for like 1 minute. Jeez. I think ever since this game started, he's had like 2 minutes of breathing in total. Other than that, he's just been holding his breath the whole time. Yeah, Demi's still in a fantastic position here, all things considered. His opponent doesn't have a lot of mining. He doesn't have a lot of money either. No longer close to maxing out. And even though every time I hold my breath, or at least I want to when... Well, I can't hold my breath because I'm, you know, casting the game, but... every time I see these armies clash, I think it's gonna go absolutely horribly for the Zerg. But all things considered, this is the army. This is all that Protoss has at this point. Well, that and a whole bunch of probes. It's really not that much. Here we go once again. Demi going for attack wave number 69. Trying to kill whatever he can. I don't think he brought enough Corruptors. Yeah. So those flying units here from the Protoss are going to have a good old time. Battery overcharge. Very helpful. 1 shield battery over there too. Excellent sim citying, but that's another Nexus gone. Look at those +3 Zerglings with Adrenal. Absolutely murdering that building. Can you murder a building? I've got a feeling Nexi are alive. Yeah, for sure. Anyhow, Geralt's income here is not as good as you'd like to be. Yep, you don't really want it to be like that. Anyways, he's now going in for a counterattack, kills another Nexus. I really think we need to see those spine crawlers repositioned. There's like a dozen spine crawlers here in total. There's 14 actually. There's a couple over there too. I think they need to be set up to those outer bases. Like, these were once constructed to protect the most vulnerable, the most, you know, far out bases of the Zerg, but that location has shifted, right, as the game progresses. I think moving those over in this direction would be fantastic, because those solid run-bys wouldn't do much against a dozen spines. I mean, you don't need that many. Just like a bunch would be sweet. Anyhow. Zergling run-by, once again on the minimap. Got a feeling I know where they're headed. Immediately making a beeline for this location. They scout it. They could fight this. He still has a lot of money in the bank. Still, the interceptors are killing a lot of Lings here, though. That's... Oh my god, that one photon cannon. Beautifully tucked away. Do we have Burrow? I feel like we need to have Burrow. He does have Burrow, but I guess there's a photon cannon over there. Okay, he killed another Nexus. So the strategy right here is to suffocate Geralt over the course of 40 minutes? Is that the strat? I feel like suffocation is more effective. Okay, fine. Well, I will not give you my theories. But you get where I was going with that, right? Before this video gets flagged. No, that's not what I'm saying. Stop it. No, but seriously, I feel like... this is a bit of a dangerous style to go for. I'm still not convinced that this is working. It would work if Geralt wasn't good at the game. Like against me, you know, if I was a Protoss player here, I'd be super dead. But Geralt is actually controlling his army really nicely. He hasn't added on any more High Templar though, which is a bit shaky. I think more High Templar would be fantastic. These Zealots are not messing around. Yeah, they're just running by the Spine Crawlers. And they're thinking about going after Brenda. Okay, get wrecked. Here's the Corruptors though. Parasitic Bomb as well would be sweet. Yep, there it is. Parasitic Bomb. And he flies into the units too. You know, that's called the Lowko maneuver. I don't want to flex or anything. I didn't come up with it, but it is called the Lowko maneuver in the pro gaming circles. Killing all the interceptors really quickly. At least he would have if that fight went on for a little bit longer and Protoss didn't just teleport on out of there. Geralt at 96 supply. Okay, he's dead now, right? He's very dead. I think so, anyways. Void Rays coming up. I think Void Rays are an excellent addition against that Corruptor heavy army. 13 Corruptors right here and 120 Zerglings. 122 Mutas as well in total in this game. That's mental. I love how this game started off with a proxy hatchery, by the way. That's pretty sick. Alright. Demi is maxed once more. And every time he's maxed out in this game, he pushes. So I'm waiting for this army to once again head across. This base cannot be secured though. Yeah, okay, he's going right now. If that base gets secured, it'd be bad. Okay, here's that storm. Storms are once again back in the game, and they are dealing so much damage. Archons also having a grand old time, murdering everything. Corruptors right now flying above a couple Archons. They need to be so careful. Couple of the, yeah, you gotta be so careful, man. Those Corruptors get absolutely demolished if you're not careful. Okay, so the Protoss flyers are gone. The Protoss capital ships are gone, but we need to see a transition right now towards Brute Lords. He does have that Greater Spire that he made ages ago. We need to see Brute Lords right now. He doesn't have a lot of gas, because without Brutes, he's no way he's gonna stop this army. You can't really have, like, this much supply caught up, okay, in units that don't do you much good. He's only got gas for 2? This base has been denied a couple times. The Spine Crawler's still protecting an expansion that doesn't do much. Man, I really feel like if those spines would have moved, he would have had so much gas from these bases. Okay, what little gas he does have, though, I think is coming in mostly over here. He's spending it on Brute Lords. If you get a group of, like, 10 Brutes... this game, XD. If you get a group of... This is baboonery at its finest. Well said. If you get like 10 Brute Lords, I think it can shut down the majority of these ground armies. But he can't afford Brute Lords anymore at this point. He's thrown away so many units at this point in the game that he just doesn't have the gas. Take that, Creep Tumor. Screw you in particular. You were very close to being killed as well, Female Karak. Okay. Another denial of a base. One Brute Lord there gets spotted. We're going back into the carrier production right now. I'm gonna go back to my original statement that I don't like this situation for Demi as much as I thought. There's the Mothership even coming up, which is an excellent option at this point. How many Vipers have gone down? 8. Okay. I don't think there's a Viper out, is there? No, he doesn't have the gas for Vipers. So now the Brute Lords are starting to rain their damage from the skies. Storms, yeah, Storms and Archons have been amazing here, and Brute Lords are really good at countering those two things. Once the Mothership is out, though, I've got a feeling that... I'm still not convinced. Anyways, Demi is maxed out again, so he's definitely attacking. If you weren't too familiar with Demi's playstyle yet, I think this will give you all the information you need. Did the Spine Crawlers move? Hey, some of the Spine Crawlers moved. There you go. If you weren't familiar with them yet, though, I think this game basically tells you all you need to know. Okay. Getting some work done over here. Recall towards the bottom right to try and keep it alive. Just needing a couple of Archons. And that beautiful Photon Cannon. Can't get over that Photon Cannon. That is a work of art. Just very difficult for the Zerglings to get in there. The Mothership takes about 7.5 years to produce, but those 7.5 years are almost up. Almost. Any moment now. She's nearly here. I think. Maybe. There's a chance that she's gonna be popping out very soon. Yeah, there we go. Okay, the mothership is out. Excellent. Geralt at 128 supply and a dream. Only getting resources right now from one base. Good storms once again. Very cost-efficient storms, as a matter of fact. Those Archons still having a grand old time. How much does he have right now? He's coming in right here. Viper Discord of YOLOing forward. He doesn't have detection. He doesn't have detection. No, no, no. Without detection, you can't fight this. Now, finally, the mothership disappears and he sees what was underneath that all this time. Oh, no. And it's Geralt that obtains the victory. Are you kidding me?